Hi, welcome to the Highly Jewish Podcast in association with Joyce. This is Tanya Tsikanovsky, and I'm sure all of you know who he is. If you don't, I'm sorry for you, because I've been his fan for a very, very long time. Reza Farahan. I don't think he needs much of an introduction, but just for my own personal note, I've been watching you on Shaw's and Sunset for a very long time. I was also very sad when the show got canceled, but I'm happy it's now in the Valley, so it's great. But I've always respected the way that you were able to handle pretty much all of your identities. You have such a complex, I mean, it's sad to say, but it's a very complex identity, because you're gay and you're Muslim and you're Jewish and you have so much. And I think that you just handled it all with such grace. And I feel like every version of you is presented in a very respectful and good and kind and beautiful way, and I'm grateful for it.
Thank you so much for saying that.
To say that, but as we go on this little drive, I'd love to just let people know who you are, like what matters to you now. You're working on so much, so I guess.
Hey everyone, I am so excited to be with my good friend today and just hang out. And I'm Reza Farahan. I used to be from Shaw's of Sunset, and now I'm from the Valley Persian style. And I'm a huge Zionist. And although I do have a lot of identities, I grew up half this, half that, all gay. I never felt like I fit in anywhere, but I feel like nowadays more than ever, it's really important to talk about my Jewish family and my support of Israel, especially with everything that's going on in the world. So
you were always a Zionist?
I was always a Zionist. And I'm actually, the crazy thing is, as far as religion goes, I'm from the wrong side of the tracks on both sides. So in Islam, your dad has to be Muslim, and in Judaism, your mom has to be Jewish, and mine are the opposite. So whenever I talk about religion with people, they tell me what I am because of those rules.
Got it.
So just recently, within days, I've decided that I need to actually go through the conversion process to right something that is a wrong. So I reached out to Rabbi Yoshi from Stephen S. Weiss. And
I went to Stephen S. Weiss elementary school. That's so funny.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So you're gonna do like a full. So you want to say that you're like fully converted into Judaism?
Yeah, because I don't feel any connection as far as religion goes with Islam, and with everything going on in Iran. Most Iranians reject Islam. I support them in their struggle and in their right to have freedom. So
when you say they reject Islam, is it possible to, be a believer but not be extreme, and to still have like Western values, or to not feel like you have to cover your hair, like you can't dance in public if you're a woman, and still follow?
No, because because Islam doesn't accept gay people. And for all of the people who I've seen on TV talking about there can be gay people in Gaza, no. There cannot be any gay people in Gaza. There can't be gay people in Iran. Maybe there are gay people in Dubai, but they can't be gay publicly. They can't hold hands. And I can't accept a religion that doesn't accept me.
Sure.
So my fundamental beliefs can't be wrapped up in a religion that wants me eradicated and all the people like me. So
absolutely.
I think that there are some people that practice that religion that are moderate and loving. I'm sure there are. But if you talk to them and they tell you what they think in their core and they're honest with you, they all believe in the hardline version of the Quran, the way it's written, and not the way you can interpret it for modern day.
Got it. So there isn't really like a reform Islam.
No.
There's no spectrum like it.
No.
And you were born in Iran, right?
Yes.
And so, you were hearing death to America and death to Israel pretty much from birth, right? So how were you also able to rectify?
Not from birth. We didn't start hearing that until after these. So I was born in 73.
I forgot, you look so much younger than me.
I love you. I was born in 73. We got to America in 77. So I was like 3.5 years old and we got here. We were helping my aunt get settled in America. They were moving here. And there started to be a rumble back in Iran, and all the relatives back home were telling us, stay there, let things die down before you come home. Things never died down, and it became a revolution, and the Islamic Republic was formed. And from the day the Islamic Republic was formed, they would chant death to America, death to Israel, and they would paint American and Israeli flags on the ground. So as you enter buildings, you would have to put your feet and like stomp on the flags of America and Israel in a sign of disrespect. But what people in Iran have realized is that propaganda was just that. It was propaganda. And there were these protests in Iran, and the person came out and he was saying, death to Israel. And the people in Iran were not responding with death to Israel. And Iranians love Israel.
Yeah.
And Iran and Israel have had a beautiful relationship prior to the Islamic Revolution. And in my heart, I know once this regime is gone, Iran and Israel will have a beautiful relationship again. And that's why the Gaza struggle is not our struggle. That's why we didn't stand with them and they don't stand with us.
Well, because they're in the same family. The Islamic regime is what's funding them.
100%.
Like, and that's like, if people want to be free in Gaza, they need to get rid of Hamas. And like, that's what people really, like, it makes me crazy that all of the blame is put on the wrong party. And it's even worse to think that like 3 years ago, you have women like freedom and people are chanting and saying, okay, we want freedom for Iran. And yet now, for some reason, when it's actually happening, everyone is quiet. And especially on the crowd that has been so vocal about Middle East matters for the last 2 years. I mean, people are literally claiming to be experts and to say that, Hamas is the result of Israel's regime and it's just an uprising. It's, they're the ones that are fighting for freedom. And it clearly, like, I don't really know what they're actually, at the end of the day, it seems like the people in America are in agreement with death to America and death to Israel, which is crazy because they're saying it from their, American soil.
But
like,
these are lost. These are lost people. These are not, absolutely. They're lost. They don't know what they're talking about. And it's the same young people that were lost and clueless that were supporting an Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran in 1979. And that's why Khomeini came to power. It was a bunch of super left-wing, socialist, Marxist revolutionaries that didn't realize the minute he took control, he was going to force the hijab on them, and they regret it now. But at the time, he was talking about free bus rides and free electricity the way Mamdani talks about free this and that.
While still increasing the cost so far.
Right.
So far, nothing's been cheap.
But what they won't tell you is that their number one goal is to spread radical Islam. It's not anything other than that.
Yeah.
That's their master plan. They just don't talk about it with the public, but in private and with other people that are pro-spreading radical Islam, that's their main goal. He appoints people that are all radicals. If you look at all the people in and around him, it's a group of dangerous people that we don't want here. Iranians came and assimilated. They love this country. There are a lot of other Middle Easterners that are radical that come here and they want to spread Sharia law.
I mean, that's what the thing that kills me is like people always say, bring them to Israel, so they can see how beautiful it is. And I'm like, no, because they're here and they see how beautiful it is here and they're taking it for granted. We need to send them to places like Iran, send them to Afghanistan, send them to Gaza, actually know what it means to not be able to walk outside and have your hair exposed, to not be able to go and have a drink, or to not be able to just do anything as a woman without having to ask a man. I mean, it's and it's not like men have it as a walk in the park there either. Like at the end of the day, life for everyone is horrible. You can't even walk a dog in Iran. Did they outlaw that?
Yeah, of course. But if you're a woman, your husband can literally accuse you of adultery to not pay you in a divorce, and then they'll kill you. Like it's disgusting.
I mean, and they're raping people before they die, so they don't die virgins. I mean, I know that's been doing that with the protesters, and the numbers are insane with how many people are dying. And I just like I'm frustrated because obviously like I'm a Republican, I'm a Trump supporter, and everything that he's done thus far in the Middle East, I think, has been definitely much better than the Biden administration would do. I mean, that's laughable, but I mean, he's doing a lot of good, and I think that, you know, with him and Netanyahu bombing the nuclear sites, I mean, I think that really helped be the catalyst for all of this. But now, like, it's time we really come in and finish the job. I mean,
I hope that we do, because he doesn't like to announce his moves, obviously.
Right.
So my prayer is that he is going to make a move and something will happen, because a free Iran is good for the entire world. Because Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism globally. They fund Hamas, they fund the Houthis, they fund Hezbollah.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like, so much destruction would be immediately stopped with the change of this regime. And and like, it would be better for the whole world. And that's why I always say, I mean, the Iranian people are at the front lines of protecting Western values. And it's crazy too when I think about just even like the self-loathing Jews, that happens on the Ashkenazi side. I know maybe like once in a while you'll see a Sephardic person who is, you know, anti-Zionist, but I don't see.
I have
not met a Persian Jew that has been like, I don't like Israel, or I literally never. And yet, so many of my Ashkenazis, you have Mandy Patinkin and you have Hannah Einbinder and all those people who are claiming that their Judaism and their
Bernie Sanders.
I mean, I can't. Like, what is going on? And it's frustrating to me too that it's like a lot of them also have like Eastern European descent. I mean, I'm a first generation American, but my parents came from the USSR. I don't know if maybe, you know, these other Ashkenazis are too far removed, but like I said, I don't know any Persians that are Jewish and anti-Zionist, like truly none. And it's I feel like, honestly, like Persian people have a better sense of like Western values and standing up for freedom than most white people do. And like I'm grateful to the Persian community. Like I'm indebted to you guys, because like as a Jew, it's really embarrassing to see how many other, you know, Jews from other places and other ethnicities that are so quick to reject our connection to Israel, and Persians don't do that.
No. Persians love Israel. I went to Israel during season 6 of Shahs of Sunset, and I could not believe, because I had previously been to Jordan, and I had been to I'd been to Jordan and I'd been to Turkey, and it was
Heard that.
The call to prayer was alarming. It scared me.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like it.
It's happening now in Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing with you saying that you're a Republican and you're a Trump supporter, I was as lefty got. I was the leftist lefty on planet Earth. But after October 7th, I had to reevaluate, because I realized not only was the Biden administration not doing anything to protect Jewish students.
Yes, it's Tanya.
Tanya, what can I get you to do?
What do you want?
I'm gonna do.
This is on me. Are you kidding?
No, you can't always pay every.
I promise you can buy me lunch, but I'm taking you for coffee.
Okay.
This is my treat. Sorry, we're having an argument in the car.
I'll do a grande iced almond milk latte, please.
A grande iced almond milk latte. So far everyone orders like normal things, and then you're gonna hear mine. Can I get an iced doppio with blonde espresso in a grande cup with brown sugar cold foam and like a lot of it? I sound nuts. I sound like such a...
I love it.
And a lot of it.
Yeah, you're the best.
And, oh yeah, yeah. You're the best. That sounds like a tasty drink.
My girlfriend made it, and I'm a sucker now. It's amazing.
We make sure I get it right. Have the ground ice latte, almond milk, and the W espresso ice in a ground cup.
Yes. Perfect.
With extra brown sugar cold.
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, you will see you around.
All right. Thank you so much.
What's in Doppio? Double shot of espresso?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go. I know. People look at me like, I'm sorry, what did you just order? I'm like, I know, but it's great. It's literally just espresso with a bunch of cold foam. So, thanks. So you were saying that you used to be lefty, and then after October 7th.
I realized the Biden administration was doing nothing to protect Jewish students, and watching those encampments with those radicals wearing the terrorist schmata started to really affect me negatively. And then watching those college presidents come and testify before Congress, I realized, there's a problem here. Like, there is a
Schumer, no less.
Schumer, but go back to having to recategorize myself. I realized if Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar are on a team, there's no way on God's green earth that I can be with them, because I am as anti them as humanly possible. They stand for nothing that I support.
Yeah.
So I need to not be with them. I need to be independent. I need to vote the way I want to vote, based off of the things that are important to me. And coming from a country where radical Islam took over and destroyed everything.
Hey, how are you? Tanya?
Yes.
This is wonderful. I have the ice on the clock.
Oh, that's. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's 10:15 today.
Thank you.
Card. It. It's an optional question for you. You can go ahead and tap or insert at the bottom. Would you like any straws today?
No, I'm okay. Unless you do.
No, I'm good.
Oh, no,
Thank
we're
you.
fine. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
So sorry, go ahead.
I realized I need to switch my thinking. These people are not with me. These lefties that are supporting radical Islam and Gaza are not aligned with how and what I believe. And I'm pro-Israel. I appreciate Israel keeping the world safe from terrorism and terrorism. Like, there's a problem here.
Yeah. No, it really, it's, for me, what's hard is that you're an independent now. That's how you registered. Yeah. And so like, I registered Republican, and I did so because I want to run for public office. And I think in that situation, you have to pick a side. And for me, I think, to your point, like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, like, those individuals are not just a part of the Democratic Party, but they seem to be the fabric of it. They seem to be what everybody seems to model in that party. They're not like the outliers, because people come to me and say, well, how can you be a Republican? You have people like Nick Fuentes, you have people like Tucker Carlson, and you have Candace Owens. And it's like, I don't see them as the ones that are really having an effect in terms of policy. They're puppets and they're talking out loud. But in terms of what's happening, like with policy, you have people like Cruz, you have people like Rubio.
Marco Rubio is a gangster.
Oh my God, he's just amazing. I really hope he runs, and I hope that they would endorse him.
He's so smart.
He's so smart, and I think he would win across the board with a landslide. I don't think it would be a problem. But so for me, I think that's also easier for me to justify, why, Republicans are safer for Jews, just because, of course, I think at the end of the day, people are going to hate us no matter what. And I think they're going to hate us from all sides. I don't think there's ever one side that's going to be safe. We always have a target on our back as Jews. But I also think that, thankfully, being proud to be an American is something that's so important to the Republicans, and Western values are so important to the Republicans, and they understand what it means to preserve that. And whether or not they hate Jews or not, they recognize that the alliance with Israel will protect the Western values here. And so for me, it goes beyond even anti-Semitism, and it's just like, look, as a basic, if you want to be free and you want to feel safe, then you need to align with the countries that share your values. And in the Middle East, what other ones actually do besides Israel?
None.
And so
None.
for me, it's like, come on, it's a no-brainer if you want to live in this country and feel safe to do so.
I couldn't believe Israel. It was so weird for me to be there and see how free people were, and just, it felt like being in
You
America.
didn't expect that?
Not at all, because I had been to Turkey, and you see the people in those burqas in restaurants. You can't even see their eyes, and they're wearing gloves, and it's 1,000 degrees, and they're lifting that thing to put food underneath, and it felt like women were second-class citizens. Not even second-class citizens. It just felt like, I don't know, it felt so oppressive. I hated it. And being someone from Iran who has just heard death to America, death to Israel, when you're in Israel and you see how beautiful a country it is and how free people are, and they're surrounded by radicals everywhere they turn, and yet they still live free. I mean, they do have to have bomb shelters, which tells you everything you need to know about their neighbors.
I mean, it's crazy though for me. Like, just to your point, I was just in Israel, and so here I am. Obviously, I'm a lesbian, and people think otherwise now. Terms are a lot more confusing, but I'm an old school lesbian, standing in Jerusalem with my lesbian partner. In front of me, there is an Orthodox man. To the right of me, there is a woman in a hijab. To a couple streets down, there's a Chabad, and then down there is the Dome of the Rock. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, a friend of mine once said that she's from the Midwest, and she goes, Jerusalem is infinitely more diverse than my town. And it's so true. You see every kind of person. You have street signs that have 4 different languages written on them. I mean, Israel, like, Hebrew is not written in Iran, and it's like, so it's
No.
It's really, it's so telling that, not to say that Israel is like, America of the Middle East, but in so many ways, when it comes to freedoms, that's exactly what it is. It's the one, like, Western, paradise in a sea of restriction and religious rule. And it's, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm very blessed that I was able to go to Israel and see the diversity and see how beautiful it is to be in a place where people are actually allowed to be who they are without being forced to otherwise. And it's Israel proves that you can be a religious state and not be exclusive. And that's the part that's amazing. People don't see that you have 2 million Arab Muslims living in Israel. Like, the people don't get that. And serving in parliament. And or if they do get it, they just hate Jews so much that they don't.
100%. It's just, the crazy thing is, like, people call me a Zio, and they think they're saying something negative to me. And I'm like,
I'm damn right I'm a Zio.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I support a country that wants my country to be free? Why wouldn't I support a country that allows gay people to be free? Why would I support radical Islam? Why would I support Hamas? If you Google what Iranians were doing in Iran on 9/11, they were mourning with the Americans. And you Google what Gazans
They were passing out
doing
candy.
and they were celebrating. And that tells you everything you need to know about the difference between Gazans and Iranians, and why we don't stand with one another in the fight against our oppressor, because they love our oppressor. Our oppressor funds their terrorist moves.
Yeah, absolutely. But how has it been for you with your friendships? Because, I mean, I don't know, like, for me, everything after October 7th changed, because all of my liberal spaces that I was a part of essentially hate me now. And I'm just wondering how has it been for you with, like, your lifelong friends? I mean, I've lost a good amount, and so
luckily I have a huge Persian Jewish community, and obviously the Persian Jews think exactly the way I think, and that's not an issue. The only issue comes with my Caucasian gay friends who are American, who have no frame of reference for the Middle East and radical Islam, and they wanted Kamala to win, and I thank God she didn't win, because
Oh my God.
radical Islam would be spreading here. I wanted the borders closed, not because I want like hardworking people that are undocumented here to be taken out of the country. I wanted the borders closed because the radical Islamists and the terrorists were sliding through with the open door policy. And there's actually a woman who is the daughter of one of the most senior IRGC terrorists.
She's teaching in Columbia or something.
She's she's at Emory in Atlanta. And I want her thrown out. And she got here because of the Biden administration's lackadaisical border policy. So
They literally just let everyone in.
totally. But they need all those people for votes, because I'll never forget, I was watching some program, and during the election, the terrorists in Gaza that were holding the hostages wanted, obviously, Kamala to win because they were afraid that Trump would come down on them like a hammer, because Middle Easterners only understand force.
Yeah.
There's no negotiating with them. Whatever they tell you, they're gonna lie. So you gotta come down on them like a sledgehammer. And so when I talk to like my gay friends that are Caucasian, that don't know anything about Middle Eastern politics, they are just obviously super liberal because they think that liberals support gay rights, and they're not thinking about this thing that's way more important and scary to me, which is, you know, anti-Semitism and radical Islam creeping into, you know, the halls of Congress and taking over America, which is way more important to me at this point, having already lost one homeland. I'm not trying to lose this homeland.
Absolutely. I mean, I know people always said to you, like, well, you're a feminist and you're, you know, pro-choice, and so how can you be a Republican, or how can you put this issue over the other? I'm like, guys, like, it's really that simple for me. If radical Islam comes here, we won't even be having a conversation about choice when it comes to abortion. That won't even be on the table. There won't be a conversation about if I can or can't get married. Like, it'll just be absolutely the hell not, and I'll be thrown off a building. Like, in every way, shape, and form. Like, there has to be like a basic line of, we want freedom and we want safety, and then we can figure out all of the other things that are necessary for society. But we have to be able to be alive first, and you have to be able to even have those conversations. You know, like, we can sit here and freely debate whether or not we think our president is a fascist, and we can post about it online, and we can make movies about it. I mean, people, like, look at the way that SNL talks about our president, and are they getting arrested? No. You know, like, that fascism would get you killed. That's what happens in Iran, and people just don't really get that. And I think when it comes to, you know, borders, and, you know, I when I studied abroad in Italy, I had to go to the Italian consulate. I had to apply for a visa, and they were very clear with me that if after the 3-month mark I don't leave, I will be in trouble. I can't just remain in Italy, like, without a proper visa. So why is it okay for all, like, literally every other country to protect its borders, but America can't, just because they expect us to be everyone's savior? Well, we can only be everyone's savior if we have a protected infrastructure first.
We have too many people that hate America living in America.
Yeah,
and we
wild.
have too many Americans hating on America, which I don't understand. And I don't understand Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and the way they talk about America. It's like, go back to, like, wherever you love. Like, why are you here?
Well,
they're
they're here on purpose. I feel like they're
Of course
plants,
they
you know,
are.
they're here
Of
just
course
to
they
ruin
are.
it, you know,
Of
and
course
just
they
like
are.
Kondani.
Of course they are. And they're here to spread radical Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be very, very, very careful, because as soon as you stop paying attention, it's too late.
Yeah. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. I don't know. It's scary, and it's sad for me too, because like when it comes to illegal immigration, for me, it seems like my personal solution would be, look, like we like, catastrophically failed with Biden's administration to close our borders. Now the borders are closed. I think that if you made it into this country already and your only crime is that, which is violating, citizenship laws, and you came here illegally, that's your crime. But if you haven't done anything else and you're otherwise here, my suggestion would be to put you on a path to citizenship. But if you've come here illegally and you're committing crimes aside from that, I want you out immediately. What's the point? Like, I don't understand. So I'm very much in support of ICE. I just want it to be slightly different. I want the focus to be on the gangs and on the extremists, and leave everyone else sort of out of the hullabaloo.
Yeah,
But
I want like the mom. What's his name? Mahmoud Khalil. Literally, I'm so happy. I cannot tell you how happy I am. Oh my God.
He is
A terrorist.
a complete terrorist. And the fact that Mamdani keeps on publicly supporting him and being friends with him and taking pictures with him.
That tells you everything you need to know
Literally.
about Mamdani.
Yeah.
Why aren't you concerned about your city?
Yes.
Why aren't you concerned about what's going on in your city and making your city better, as opposed to shooting with that lady that does the cosplay, and I forget, Miss Rachel?
Oh my God.
Like-
Dude, did you see what she did this week?
Yeah, of course I did. But the thing that's even worse is that they feel very comfortable being as anti-Semitic as they are. That's what's crazy to me now, that it's so tolerated.
Well, it just seems like, look, I feel, when I was raised, my dad always told me that everyone hates Jews, and I didn't really believe it. And I thought, like, come on, like, the Holocaust is over. We're past this. Like, enough with this. But at the end of the day, I think historically we can look back and realize that history continues to remind us that we are the other, and that we're always treated by the other in every aspect of society. And when we assimilate too much, we have to consistently remind it to, no, we need to protect ourselves and get back in together. Like, there was, there's the Grossingers. It was a Jewish country club out in the Catskills between the 1930s and the 70s, and it was around because Jews weren't allowed to go to country clubs.
What are you talking about? Hillcrest Country Club on Pico Boulevard is there because Jews couldn't get into the Los
Angeles Country
Club on Wilshire.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So like, we created
In
our own
Palm
spaces.
Springs, Tamarisk Country Club exists because they couldn't get into Thunderbird Country
Now,
Club.
but you know all of that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like, Grossingers was so vibrant for like 40 years, and then the second we were allowed to go to other country clubs, Grossingers went under. And now, when I look at that, or I see the story of it, there's a documentary that was made about it. I want Grossingers back, like, immediately. I want us to feel like, no, we have a place, and we're not just going to be turned on by the people that we have spent so much time trying to, like, rub elbows with. And so I just feel like that's what, like, October 7th almost reminded so many people that were dormant when it came to their Judaism or their understanding of how people perceive them and us as Jews. I mean, people, no matter what, come with some form of a judgment if you say that you're Jewish. And I think just recognizing that is powerful, because it gives us an opportunity to feel pride, and also to know that we have to stick together and we have to look out for each other. And I think Jews have always been really good at that. We've always been good at making sure that we're providing resources for each other. But it's really sad that so many places, like you said, you were a lefty for so long. I worked for Hillary's campaign. I literally worked as a campaign organizer in Iowa. I moved to Iowa to try to make sure that our country would vote a Democratic woman into office against Trump. And to now look at how differently I look at things.
But the Democratic Party looks completely different today than it did
It does.
then. And I feel like there is a shift where radical Islam and the Democratic Party are working hand in hand with one another.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Ilhan Omar went from what, $30,000 to $30 million or something?
Yeah, and Tim Walz was picked to be the running mate because of the money he was going to bring to the campaign.
And did you hear what she did with Shapiro? She asked Shapiro if he was a Mossad agent.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it's just, and like, wanted him to denounce, his being, verbalizing that he's sad about what happened on October 7th. Like, she needs to retract his statements in support of Israel of what happened on October 7th. And I can't believe that this was someone that Jews voted for. There were so many Jews that voted for
What are you talking about? Jews voted for Mamdani.
I know, 30% voted for Mamdani. I mean, it's insane.
I didn't think there was any chance he was going to win, and he won.
Yes, I know. I agree, too.
I thought New York is very Jewish. They're going to see through the BS. They're going to realize that he's not going to have Jewish best interests at heart. Like nowadays, when I see all of these physicians and doctors, I'm like, there's no chance. If anything happens to me, there's no chance I want to go to anywhere other than a Jewish hospital or a Jewish doctor, because I don't trust them to do the right thing.
Yeah, but you know what, now even though I have to go a step further and look if they're Zionists. And that's what's sad, because I used to literally think that being a Jew and being a Zionist were one and the same thing. And I say this all the time, but it's true. When you say the Shema, you say it to Israel. Like, it's such a part of our language and of our culture and of our religion. Like, it's one and the same. So I really did not know that there were Jews out there that didn't support Israel. So when I learned that, and to now know, wow, I can go to a Jewish doctor and he might really be anti-Israel and then look at me like I'm crazy. The amount of Jews that have been verbally abusive to me because I am a Republican now. And specifically, what's crazy is that when I first told people that I can't believe I'm about to say I came out as a Republican. It sounds nuts. But when I came out as a Republican, I told people that so much of the reason was because of how things are handled with Israel and what's going on with Jews on campus. And nobody cared about that at all. And so for me, I feel like, I almost feel like everyone hated me for being Jewish all along. And then the fact that I just said I'm Republican now is giving them the free pass to not talk to me. But at the end of the day, I think that deep down there is so much deep-rooted anti-Semitism with so many different people, and it's now completely taken over the Democratic Party. And unfortunately, a lot of it is perpetrated by these white Jewish women that have completely lost every sense of their identity and are really doing us a disservice as Jews. It's mind-boggling. And the same thing with gay people. I mean, I'll never be able to understand how.
Queers for Palestine.
I'll never be able to.
I'm sorry. That is chickens for KFC.
Quite literally. I mean,
They will throw you off of a building.
No, it's like a cult that likes the mass suicide cults. I think it's that. It's like where they think we're all supposed to die. I mean, what else?
Here's the thing that this is my assumption, and this is just me assuming that uneducated people have been watching videos of rubble and propaganda videos, and their hearts have grown sympathetic, and they don't understand anything about anything other than that image that they viewed.
Yep.
And that image activates them because they can't tolerate seeing it. And in this century, when there's a war with the internet and everything, you're bombarded and people are just swiping, and they did an amazing job with their propaganda campaign, and Qatar does an amazing job to heighten anti-Semitism as much as they can. So people are watching these videos, it's affecting them negatively, and they just support because they don't understand what they're actually supporting. They think they're just supporting a lack of rubble.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I don't get is that, like, obviously I know that, we're losing the PR war. And I know that there's very small amount of Jews compared to Muslims in the world. And so I get that it's easy to take over so many different accounts, bots and whatnot. But what I don't understand is that on October 7th, when footage was released of what Hamas did on the kibbutzim and on at the Nova site, and all of the horror and atrocities that were perpetrated against babies, like, we all learned that information, and nobody seemed to be moved by images.
They were tearing down posters of the hostages.
Exactly.
Women, the girls, the young girls. There are contingents of the population that are so indoctrinated into that super radical Islamic anti-Semitic world that is mind-boggling to me. I'm like, this is not even your cause. How did they get you so, like, hooked into their
It has to be money.
propaganda machine?
It just has to be money. Somehow, some way, people are paying them, because I don't understand. I mean, how you can bring yourself to pull down a picture of a child's face that's a hostage is beyond me.
But a lot of lesbians are a part of that group.
Yeah, I don't. My people are nuts, man. I really. It's embarrassing. The best way to put it is, like, the lesbians are embarrassing. I really don't understand it. And I experienced it at Dyke Day. I was getting yelled at and being told, like, why am I here? And I'm a Nazi, by two Jewish, like, feminine women. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, you're at a lesbian event and you're telling me that you're queer. I don't know what you are, but you're saying that you're queer. You're telling me that I'm not welcome here as a dyke. Like, look at me. I should be allowed here. And you're telling me I'm not welcome because I support the one country in the Middle East that will actually, like, let you live. And they're telling me I'm not welcome, and it's coming from Jews, like, Jews that are saying that I'm a Nazi. I mean, how do you, like, I remember, like, being raised, being told that, like, those words they hold a lot of weight and, like, real meaning, and you can't just throw them around like they are meaningless. And now, like, you're turning to someone that, like, I lost so many members of my family to the Holocaust. The only reason I'm here in America is because my parents were brought here as Jewish refugees with the help of the Jewish Federation. So for me, like, otherwise, I would not have the same life if I was still stuck at that time, the Soviet Union, and now it would be, Ukraine. I just don't understand, how you can so easily, as a Jew, call someone else a Nazi because they like Israel. I mean, the mental gymnastics, like, I feel like we're just becoming so stupid. So, like, here we are in the age of information and we have everything at our disposal, but when you look at it, people are just really dumb. They don't know history. They don't know what the definitions of words mean, and people are just spreading such lies. I don't know. I think it would be difficult. I'm grateful I have, like, a strong family and a good core, and maybe that's why so many Persians have it right, because you guys really prioritize family.
100%.
Like,
but we don't fall for. Literally, you see the Iranians and they're being forced to chant things, but they don't get Stockholm syndrome and fall in love with their captors. Like, Iranians hate their captors, but in Gaza, 70% support Hamas.
Oh yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's and the fact that it's also, when you think about, so many of the people champion on the left, like, no guns are their problem. Well, in Iran, I think it would be a whole lot easier for all of the people in the street that are protesting to actually succeed in toppling over this regime.
Oh, it would be a wrap. I saw, like, one of the Sepah Basijis get captured by the freedom fighters, and they were literally beating him up, and it brought so much joy to me. Like, it makes me so happy when one of them gets called out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or, like, I loved seeing what happened at the protest here in LA when there was a first, like, a Free Iran protest, and that crazy, I think it was the MEC, was that the organization?
Totally, yes.
And the way that people just
jumped on that truck.
They weren't running away. They're like, no, we're gonna get you. You're not gonna do this
once
to
the
our
cops
people.
got him, they were still getting punches in.
Oh my God,
Yes.
I loved it. That made me proud. I'm like, wow, like the strength of Iranians. I mean, that to me, like that what the way that they're acting, the way that you guys are acting, that's true Americans.
The
like,
women,
true Americans.
The women of Iran are the bravest human beings on planet Earth.
Yep.
They are sick and tired, sick and tired of the BS of having to cover up and practice a religion that means nothing to them. They don't want it. They reject it, and I support it so much.
Me too.
And I'm so appreciative of Israel for taking out so many of the heads of that terrorist organization in such a precise way. You look at this high-rise building, and literally the only unit in the building that was blown out was the one of that terrorist.
Or like the beepers.
The pagers.
The pager thing. I can't wait to see a movie on that.
There's a CBS, I think it was 60 Minutes, and they broke it down beginning to end how Israel was able to do that. And I probably rewatched it 20 times because it made me so happy.
Yeah. It was like 10 years in the making, right? Like those things were like planted. So, I mean, talk about the long game. But you know what? I don't know. The other side has a really good long game because if 9/11, if you can look at what happened on 9/11 to now having Mamdani being sworn in on a Quran in the city of New York, that should be the most proud city and most patriotic city, and instead is now little Islam. We lost the long game there, for sure.
Yeah,
now,
but there are a lot of Americans that make me really proud. I saw a video on the subway where a guy was like, yeah, I'm not accepting this. 9/11, they were celebrating. I'm not down. Like, what happened to never forget?
Yep.
There are people that remember, but I think that with how polarizing and polarized the left side and the right side politically we are in this country, there are a group of young people that don't feel connected to anything, and they find solace amongst these radicals, and they adopt causes that aren't theirs, and they feel like they're fighting for something, and they really have no clue what they're fighting for and what they're inviting into their home and into this country.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the classic case of like the white kid that joins the KKK because he doesn't have any home or family to turn.
Totally, and he feels supported and he feels a sense of community.
Yeah, it's sad that the keffiyeh now is like the new rainbow flag, and it's crazy. And you just wrote a book, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that, because is it out now?
It's not out yet. I wrote a book. It's called Memoirs of a Geisha, and it comes out April 7th, but you can pre-order it now. And I talk about being, 3.5 and coming to America on a vacation, and then a revolution starting in the country that I was born in, and
best vacation you ever took.
Never going back. And I'm so grateful. And literally, so when you talk about like being half Jewish, half Muslim, 100% gay, before I had a gay community, I had no community. The only community I felt was being a Leo, because I was born on August 5th and I'm a part of that group. You can't take it away from me, because by just the mere fact that I was born on that day, I belong to them. Like, if the Jews don't accept me because my mom's not Jewish, if the Muslims don't accept me because my dad's not Muslim, at least the Leos take me. I'm in that group. You can't take it away from me. And I grew up in America watching Walter Cronkite count down the 444 days that the Americans were being held hostage in the embassy in Iran. I grew up being petrified of Iran. I would see my parents watching the news where people were hanging from cranes in the town square. And Iran was the scariest place on planet Earth to me. I was petrified of Khomeini and petrified of Iran. And I started to develop these anxiety dreams where I don't know how I got there, because let me go back. I had an Islamic passport, and my family had all become U.S. citizens, but they kept telling me, we have assets in Iran, don't become a citizen yet, because if anyone ever needs to go back to claim those assets, a man needs to do it.
Oh God, so you were supposed to be that man?
So not only am I supposed to be that man, but I also knew that if you weren't a U.S. citizen and you committed a felony, you could get deported back to your birth country. So I was petrified that somehow I would get caught up in some crime and I'd get deported back. So I had this fear of going back to Iran.
Oh my God.
And I had this...
Wow, people are angry. Are we for real?
I don't even know. There's no car around her.
She was honking
Still
at the
honking.
Jeep, but wow, someone's having a bad day. Well, okay. Welcome to LA. Go ahead.
So in this terror dream that I would have, I wake up in Iran. I don't know how I got there. I'm in a hospital. Another fear I used to have was dying of HIV, because I grew up in the 90s where Pedro Zamora was on The Real World, and he contracted
That was so
HIV
sad.
and then died like months later.
That was so sad.
So in this nightmare, I'm in Iran, I'm in a hospital. The doctor is telling me that I'm gonna die very soon. And by the way, when you left Iran, they made a mistake translating your passport. You're actually a Virgo. So I'm wandering around the streets of Tehran,
Oh my God.
dying, and I'm a Virgo. So like the one group that I still had an affiliation with in that nightmare, that was even taken away from me.
That is the gayest like nightmare I've ever heard in my entire
Literally.
life.
Literally.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
But I talk in the book about how my parents came here, assimilated, killed the game, raised me in Beverly Hills, and one of my proudest moments is when I was naturalized as a U.S. citizen. So although my name is very Persian, I look very Persian, everything about me is very Persian, on the inside, I feel very baseball and apple pie and God bless America.
You still love warm sabzi, right?
I still love Lorma Sabzi, but you know, I do love a hot dog, a hamburger, and a slice of apple pie.
I'm the exact same way. Give me that and some Tahdig and Fashion, I want both.
Yeah,
And
same.
we're good. Oh my God, that's so fun.
Same. And in the book, it talks about from the day we got here until I got the phone call for the new show and the cancellation of Shaw's, and how difficult that time was for me, because I lost the sense of who I was. If I'm not this person on Shaw's of Sunset, who am I? Where do I belong? This thing that was so important to me for so long was taken away. Do I even matter anymore if I'm not on TV? Thank you.
It's hard. I mean, I know, because you've always struggled with being able to find a home, and in that sense, you had one.
Yeah.
It was taken. It sucks too, because I still think that was the best show on Bravo.
Thank you.
I don't know why they did that, but how is it now doing The Valley? Did it sort of bring back that same feeling, or is it different?
It totally brought back that same feeling. And the one thing that I didn't account for, having lost Shaw's, was the comfort level I would have going into a new project, because the worst thing has already happened. I lost a parent, I lost my favorite pet, and I lost a show that was really special to me. So I already know what those really horrific things feel like. So what are you gonna do to me? You already took it away from me once. If you take it away from me again, it's a blessing I have it back. I know I won't always have it, and I feel like I'm prepared in a way that I wasn't before.
Do you feel I'm going to assume that these people were such a big part of your life, that whether you wanted to or not, you sort of became family.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you guys all, especially since October 7th, since it's you and Mike, I think, from Shaw's were the only Jews, really.
Yeah.
So how have any of your friendships in that capacity changed, or do you feel supported? Did it affect you? Were you afraid of how it would affect your career to be so outspoken? I mean, maybe now you're fearless now because you've already gone through so much loss, and I totally empathize. My dog, by the way, his name was Gusu.
Okay.
It's 2 months today since he
I'm
passed.
so sorry.
Yeah, and he was my everything. So I know what it's like to see what what can you do next?
Yeah, like, what are you
know,
gonna
what
do
are you
to
gonna
me?
do? It does give you some kind of like a penetrable shield, but how did did you get phone calls from cast members or from other people who weren't Jewish that actually expressed concern, after October 7th, or do you feel like nobody really gets it unless
No one really gets it unless you're Jewish or you have Jewish family members. And I talked with my therapist about this because I did an interview where I was talking about Mamdani and how dangerous I think he is. And I talked to my therapist and I said, I have a friend who told me I should keep my mouth shut and that I shouldn't talk about anything because I don't want to alienate people that could buy my book. And my therapist said to me, do you want those people buying your book?
Exactly.
And I said, no, I don't want them buying my book. And I would rather they know how I feel than pander to them and make a few bucks off of it. And, before we started our interview, I was kind of telling you about like the Monopoly money that I play with and the houses I buy so I can set myself up in a way where I don't have to rely on other people to come through for me, for me and my husband to survive.
Yeah.
And I want to set myself up in a way where my money is guaranteed so I don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
So I can talk about what's important to me and Iranian rights, Jewish rights, and gay rights are really important to me. And if I'm not able to talk about those things and I stay quiet because I'm worried about money, it chips away at my soul.
Yeah.
And what's my character and my makeup?
And it's almost like, it's funny because when we started the conversation, you were talking about like owning versus renting. And I feel like that's the difference. If you are having to be quiet because you are afraid of where your money's coming from, like you're a renter. And if you're able to be free, you own the building. And
Yeah.
I think it speaks to, it's like a great metaphor for not just like reality when it comes to like financial choices, but how that really liberates you socially and allows you to be who you are and not worry about, what someone thinks or how it's going to affect, your bottom line. I mean, I've always said that I think that 1 million doors will close and then 1 million more will open. There's enough out here in this world where you can find your way and be aligned with the thing that actually defines who you are instead of, pandering to a side that you don't agree with just to make a buck. So, I mean, I think I'm glad that you have that approach because we need people, not just Jews, but I think it's important to see that as gay people, we're not all queers for Palestine and we're not all leftists and we're like we don't all fall into like one box. And it's nice that, we have such different backgrounds and can still agree on so much and we look the way that we do. And I think that that's important for people to see. And I mean, it was important for me to see when I was watching you on Shaw's that, like I had a gay best friend who was Persian and who I know for a fact was able to come out because he saw you be open. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think you're doing the same thing for a Jewish kid that's afraid to be proud. And so I'm grateful that you are able to have the voice that you have.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And it gives me a sense of purpose because reality TV is, just fun and light and there's not really a whole lot of substance to it. It's just something people do to escape their real life. But I've just been very lucky because I started reality TV at a time when I didn't know that Shaw's was going to be a huge hit or that I would have a platform for an extended period of time. And I thought to myself, if I have 2 minutes to show some people that you can be Middle Eastern, you can be gay and your family can support you and your friends will love you and you can be successful and do you the way you want to be, I'm going to take that opportunity and I'm going to run with it. And I've been really blessed. And obviously I have a very big family and my Jewish side of the family is much bigger than the other side and I love them so much. And I take it very personally. Like, I take anti-Semitism very personally. I take, talk in and around being a Zionist very personally. When people are being insulted online or propaganda is being pushed online, I feel like it's being directed directly at me.
Oh yeah, you showed me some of those messages and your responses crack me up. Like, you crack me up with the way that you respond to some people. But it's, you don't shy away, and I love it. Like, you let people know, like, no, you're dumb. This isn't accurate what you're saying. And I love that. I love that you meet their craft, and you let them know that they're wrong. And I love that. I love that you engage with your audience in that way. You're not afraid to be cutthroat and honest, and I love that. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.